opposition is planning to impeach the country's prime minister. The move follows a wave of criticism toward Pashinyan, with many accusing him of surrendering the region of Nagorno-Karabakh to Azerbaijan with no resistance, leading to violent clashes in the Armenian capital. The riots followed Wednesday's agreement on a ceasefire in Nagorno-Karabakh and the disbandment of the local armed forces. The news came from regional authorities, while the Armenian prime minister said he learned of the ceasefire from social media. He stressed that Yerevan did not take part in the talks, which led to the agreement on Karabakh, but supports its provisions. Our correspondent, Roman Kasarov, was caught in the middle of the angry riots in the capital of Armenia.
We are on the Republic Square here in the capital of Armenia, Yerevan. What looked to be a peaceful protest at the beginning, as it now turns violent. Now, protesters began to throw rocks and bottles at the police. There are additional units here protecting the building. As I understand, a couple of people were injured. Looks like someone is getting arrested over there. Everything was peaceful initially, but the situation had exploded in just a few seconds. And the people began storming this government building. It's been continuing for about 5 to 10 minutes right now. And this is, of course, reminiscent of the situation that was happening here on Tuesday when 34 people were injured.
The Azerbaijani leader praised Armenian authorities for facilitating the restoration of Baku's sovereignty, a move that has angered many Armenians.
As a result of the anti-terrorist measures and their successful completion, Azerbaijan has restored its sovereignty. Armenia's leadership, surprisingly, demonstrated unexpected political competence. We appreciate this and consider it an important factor.
The authorities are not just traitors, they are enemies of our people. Ilham Aliyev clearly stated that Armenia did not interfere at all in the process which were taking place in Artsakh. This demonstrates once again that this is an agreed usurpation of power in Armenia.
We will not accept the fact of the surrender. It wasn't the decision of our citizens or of the Armenian nationals. It was the consequence of the decision made by current authorities and the foreign policy of the Prime Minister personally.
Unfortunately, it should be noted that the government of Armenia gave the green light to Azerbaijan's genocidal policy.
The whole nation, the majority, do not agree with the surrender of Karabakh to Azerbaijan. And the Armenian government is inactive. It does nothing in this regard.
The Armenian prime minister first recognized Nagorno-Karabakh as belonging to Azerbaijan in 2022 during a summit in Prague, later saying at a Council of Europe summit in Reykjavik that Armenia recognizes the territorial integrity of Azerbaijan within the borders that include the region. We spoke with Middle East expert Kevork Amashian, who says the Pashinyan government had long given up on Nagorno-Karabakh.
The goal of Pashinyan government from the beginning was to give up Nagorno-Karabakh to Azerbaijan. Accordingly, we see the consequences of this foreign policy approach of shifting the strategic relations of Yerevan toward the West. For the past 10 years to 20 years, every Armenian government was involved in the negotiations between Azerbaijan and Armenia through the mediation of Russia or the Western powers here. This government abandoned the Armenians of Karabakh.
The Russian Ministry of Defense has reported that Russian peacekeepers in the area helped to evacuate about 5,000 civilians, including children. All of them have been provided with medical treatment, supplies, and temporary shelter. However, after the ceasefire, a car with Russian peacekeepers was attacked with multiple servicemen killed. Russian and Azerbaijani investigators are working at the scene.
September 20th, during their return from the observation post of the Russian peacekeeping contingent in the area of the settlement of Janyatag, a car with Russian servicemen was shelled with small arms. As a result of the shelling, the Russian servicemen who were in the car were killed. Russian and Azerbaijani representatives of the investigative bodies are working on the spot to clarify all the circumstances of the incident.
Well, the attack against Russian peacekeepers came moments after the ethnic Armenian side and the Azerbaijan side effectively agreed to a ceasefire deal. And the attack in which this took place was in the village of Janyatag, which is effectively in the center of the conflict as it stands. It's a highly heated environment, but of course there was the guarantee of a ceasefire. So this attack came as a bit of a surprise. Of course, tensions were high. The fact that Russian peacekeepers were targeted could be the surprising element here. In fact, we did hear from Russian officials on the matter, who of course went into detail about the attack, saying that there was shell fire. The Foreign Ministry did issue a statement. In fact, the spokeswoman for the ministry, Maria Zakharova, commented on the matter. And let's take a listen at what she said before we continue.
Rest in peace to the fallen Russian peacekeepers who as always took a blow for the sake of peace in the region. The dark ingratitude with which the unscrupulous tried to question their activities will not overshadow their feat, but it will fall on the slanders with internal shame.
There's been a similar case in 2020 during the Second Karabakh War, an event that took place during that war which resulted in the shooting down of a Russian military helicopter. But in that instance, the Azerbaijani side essentially issued a statement saying that they essentially shot down the helicopter, that it was a mistake. But one of the most important factors in this case would be that the announcement came almost immediately after the incident. There has been no mention about who was involved in this incident, nobody taking responsibility for the attack. So it's pretty hush, pretty quiet, but investigators are carrying out their investigation, and when they learn more, we'll have a better idea as to what really happened there in the region.
Earlier footage from Stepanakert Airport showed the site filling up.